Okay, good morning, everyone. This is Mr. Raymond here, and we are going to be working in Book 4, Unit 5, Grammar 1 today. So let's get started. What you need to know. What is a linking verb and what is an action verb? This is what we're going to be focusing on. Today we will study linking and complement action verbs, complement subjects, stative and dynamic verbs. What is a linking verb? Linking verbs don't show action like ordinary verbs. They rather link or connect the subject to a subject complement, the part of the sentence that follows the verb. It describes and identifies the subjects. For example, Larry looks happy. Looks is a linking verb. Happy is a complement that describes and identifies Larry, the subject. The play was good. Was is a linking verb. Good is a complement that describes and identifies the play as the subject. Okay. Some of the most popular linking verbs are to-be verbs. And let's go over our to-be list. Am, is, are, was, were, has, being, been, became. Now, became is used, but it's not used a lot, so we say it's less popular to use than some of the other ones. And a list of common linking verbs. Appear, remain, seem, smell, stay, sound, taste, turn, prove, be, become, feel, get, grow, look. Some of the verbs can function as linking and as ordinary verbs. Now again, this is a list of common linking verbs. This is not all of them. So, what is a linking verb? What I like to do is I like to focus on what I call the formula over here on the right side of the screen. Right? And this is how you set up your sentences when you're writing or speaking. We're going to use two different formulas, verb plus noun and verb plus adjective. Okay. So some verbs are followed by either a noun or an adjective. Let's look at a couple of examples here. She was a good friend. She was very happy. He became headmaster. Became verb, headmaster noun. He became angry. Became verb, angry is the adjective here. All right, so these are our two different formulas. We're either doing verb plus noun or verb plus adjective. Now, this is what the students are going to ask. This is what you're asking. How can I tell the difference? How do I know? Is it a linking or an ordinary verb? The trick to identify whether a verb is a linking verb or an ordinary verb is to see the relationship between the subject and the complement. If the relationship isn't equal, right, remember the equal sign, then it is a linking verb. Okay, so we're focusing on the relationship between the subject and the complement. Let's look at our first example. He looks angry. He equals angry, linking verb. Okay, angry is talking about he. Look at our second one. He looked at the man. He equals the man. He and at the man the same? No. So looked here is action. It's something that he is doing. All right. So what is a linking verb? Some linking verbs are followed by an adjective, but not a noun. Common verbs like this are get, grow, go, taste, smell. Okay? So let's look at some of our examples we've got. He got hungry in the evening. The dog went crazy. She grew stronger every day. The soup tasted wonderful. This milk smells bad. Now remember, with all of these linking verbs there, you can change the form. Right? It's not always going to be in its original form. All right, so it can change the forms here. All right, as you can see, smell, smells, taste, tasted. All right, now we're going to do a bit of an exercise here. You're going to use the correct nouns and adjectives to correct the sentences. So we're going to use interesting and actor. Now, what do we want to remember when we see N? Okay, when we see the article, what do articles go with? Okay, think about this. What do articles go with? Okay, so we've got interesting and actor, right, the fashion, bad, the bones, sore, very cold, really happy, wonderful. All right, you see lots of words here, but only 5 sentences. That's because we're going to have 2 sheets here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to the first page here of 1 to 5. I'm going to give you guys about 3 minutes here. I want you to go through, read these sentences, and try to pick the correct nouns and adjectives for the sentences. So I'll give you 3 minutes, then I'll move to the next page and give you 2 minutes there. Okay. All right, let's move to the second page. Okay, and again, I give you about 2 or 3 minutes here to go through and finish these ones up, and then we'll check everything together. All right, let's go through here. Now, remember, you want to take the time to go through this. Don't wait for the next slide or don't jump to the next slide just to check the answers. The whole point of doing this is to give yourself some practice, and then the next slides will have the answers there for you. If you just jump to find the answer, you're not going to help yourself. Right? This is practice for test day. All right, let's take a look at our answers now. Okay, so the first sentence. I wrote for 3 hours nonstop in the exam, and now my arm feels sore. Now, when we're looking at the answers, okay, my arm feels something. I feel something, so I feel wonderful, I feel sore. How do we know sore is going to be the correct answer? We take a look at the clues, right? The clues here that they gave us, or what I call the key words. Wrote for 3 hours nonstop. This tells us that you are not going to feel good doing this. So that's where we know we want a negative instead of a positive, like wonderful here. All right, let's take a look at number 2. I really don't like colorful ties, but they seem to be the fashion these days. Okay? Now, I really don't like, you know this is negative here. But what does but tells us? What does but tell us? It's telling us we're going to be listening for kind of like an opposite or some kind of conflicting idea with this. Okay? So this is why now it becomes something positive. All right, number 3. You have to be careful with meat in this climate. It can go bad quickly. All right, let's take a look at this. Now, what's going to be a difficult word? Climate. This is going to be a challenging word. This one we hear all the time. When we think about climate, we're going to be thinking about the weather. All right? And it's telling you, be careful with it. So that must mean something about the weather is not good. Now, if you think about Saudi Arabia in the summertime, the climate is very hot. So you're not going to leave meat sitting out before it's cooked, all right? Why? It can go bad very quickly in the heat there. All right, let's take a number 4 here. This cake tastes, okay, tastes something. Now we've got a couple things. We could go with interesting. All right, this cake tastes interesting. That sounds like a good answer because maybe it's a cake that I've never tasted before. Something about it might be unusual. Or this cake tastes wonderful. Did you make it yourself? All right, so the second part of this, they're kind of complimenting you. All right, so did you make it yourself? Oh, it's telling you that, hey, there's something really good. It's giving you a compliment. So maybe wonderful is the better choice instead of interesting, all right? Because you're not really focusing. If you were going to use interesting there, you might say, what did you make it with? All right, this cake tastes interesting. What did you make it with? You're trying to find out the information of why it's interesting. Okay? So this clue, the second part here, the compliment really tells us that wonderful is the better answer. Okay, number 5. What do you want to see at the cinema? Cinema, this is another one. Okay, what's the cinema? It's another name for like movie theater. Okay, or going to the movies. So what do you want to see at the cinema? What do you want to see at the movies? The new Bond film sounds, okay, something about this, interesting. All right, so we've got the new Bond film sounds interesting. So this is what we want to see at the cinema because it's interesting. All right, let's take a look at our next page here. Archaeologists working in the desert have found what appears to be the bones of a dinosaur. All right, so this sentence is starting out with a big word, archaeologists. Okay. Working in the desert. So we know these are some people here working, right? But we don't know exactly, we might not know exactly what archaeologist is, but we don't really need it to find our answer for the sentence. Why? Working what appears to be blank of a dinosaur. What are you going to find of a dinosaur these days? There are no more dinosaurs. So what would we find from them? Usually just their bones. Okay? All right, so what are archaeologists? These are people that are looking for and finding things like dinosaur bones, right? These are the researchers. They go in there and they're digging in the ground and stuff and trying to find these old artifacts. You know, they might not always be looking for bones. They're looking for maybe old pottery, old weapons, things like this. Okay. All right, next, number 7. Remember to bring lots of warm clothes. Warm clothes. So if we're bringing warm clothes, are we going to the desert in Saudi in the summertime? No, right? Warm clothes, we want them because we might be cold. So this is a key word or a key phrase here to help you find an answer. It can get blank here at night. Very cold. All right, that's why we need the warm clothes. So this is our key word. This is what's helping us fill in our blanks. All right, number 8. Lawrence decided to become blank when he was just 10 years old. He wants to be something. Right? Lawrence is going to be something, become something. So we know Lawrence going to become something, so it has to be a noun here. All right? Okay, so he's going to become an actor. Okay, number 9. How looks blank today? Did she get some good news? All right, if you get good news, how do you feel? This is the key word here. This is the key that's going to help you fill in this blank. Good news. You think about good news, really happy. Ada looks really happy today. Why? She got good news. Number 10. I don't think you should use that milk. It doesn't smell blank. Right? We're using a negative here. Don't use that milk. So it doesn't smell. So something is not good here. So it doesn't smell right. So these are some of the key words there to help you find your answer. All right, let's move on to our next slides here. So here we have a list of common linking verbs. Okay, and remember, this is not all of them. These are just some of the more common ones. Appear, remain, seem, smell, stay, sound, taste, turn, prove, be, become, feel, get, grow, look. Some of the verbs can function as linking and as ordinary verbs. So we want to keep this in mind as we're going through. It doesn't mean that if you see this word, it's always going to be a linking verb. Okay, So let's look at some examples using these different ones here. Look. Nadia looked happy. Nadia equals happy. So this is a linking verb. Nadia looked at the window. Nadia equals at the window. All right? Ordinary verb. Taste. The food tastes delicious. Linking verb. They tasted the food. Ordinary verb. Okay, because they did it. Appear. She appeared quiet. Linking. She appeared in the room. Ordinary verb. All right, let's move on to our next one. Okay, so here you're going to decide if the verb is a linking or an ordinary action verb. And again, this is one of these things where after I've given you time to go through these, I'm going to go over the answers with all of these with you. So take your time here. I'm going to give you about 5 minutes because you've got 10 of them there. Go through, check each one, decide, is it linking or is it an ordinary verb? And then after 5 minutes, you and I will go over these together and I will we'll have the slide with all the answers for you. All right, so take about 5 minutes to go through these. Okay, let's check our answers. Now remember, you're doing this as practice. So if you don't get them right, not a problem. What we want to do is we want to figure out why did we get it right or why did we get it wrong. That's important for when we get to test day. All right, here we go. Let's take a look here. All right, she looks fine. Okay, linking verb. Why? Fine goes back to how she is, how she looks. She looked into the street. Ordinary verb. Why? Looked. Here, she did the action. She physically looked at, right? She does not equal the street. He is the best soccer player in the world. Okay. Linking verb. Why? He, all right, best soccer player. Same, right? You're linking those two. Remember back to that first slide where we showed you with the linking, right? Are they equal? She was great in her performance. Again here, linking. She seems confused. Or, sorry, he seems confused. Linking. Why? He confused. Okay, now let's take a look at number 6 here. They tasted the pizza. Ordinary verb. Why is this one already? They, pizza? No, the people aren't pizza. But they did the action here. They tasted it. The pizza tasted good. Pizza good? Yes. Right? These link together. The pizza and good go together. Whereas the other one, they, the pizza? No. All right. Let's take a look at number 8. That sounds fantastic. That is linking to fantastic. The bugle sounds loudly. All right. Why? How's the adverb? That in here. He grew tired of running. All right. And again, we're linking. All right. Now, hopefully you guys did all right with this. If you made a mistake, take a look back at this and go back to the other slides and try to determine, why did I pick this? Why did I pick linking, or why did I pick ordinary when it was the other one? Okay? So you have to decide, were the things linking, or was there some kind of an action? I think the action ones are the easier ones to think. So think about it this way, like number 2. Is there action here? She looked into the street. She did this. So some kind of an action happened. All right, let's move on to our next slide. So now we're going to talk about what is a stative verb. Stative verbs have undefined duration. They denote states rather than actions. And some examples of stative are want, know, have, when it means possession. So we're talking about have when it means possession. Think when it means opinion. Okay? You do this all the time. I think. Like, love, hate, need, prefer, agree, sound, hear, disagree, wish, look when it means seem, smell, seem, include. Right? And again, this is not all of them, but these are some examples and probably more of the common ones. All right. So stative verbs have an undefined duration. What is duration? Meaning the period of time. All right. What is a stative verb? You cannot say, I am knowing the truth. I am liking pizza. It is sounding like a great idea. Now, why are we saying this, and where do these wrong answers come from? These come from examples that students are doing in class or have done in class. So these are things that students do incorrectly. We want to change this. Instead of saying, I am knowing the truth, I know the truth. Or, I am liking pizza. You simply say, I like pizza. It is sounding like a great idea. It sounds like a great idea. Now, we've got something here. We didn't put S's here, but we put an S on this one. Do you remember what the rule is here with the subject? He, she, it, S. Okay? Don't forget that. That's a key. All right. Let's take a look at our next slide here. What is a dynamic verb? As opposed to a stative verb, a dynamic or action verb shows continued or progressive action on the part of the subject. Examples of dynamic verbs are act, build, complete, design, develop, draw, fix, gather, handle, head, help, improve, interview, introduce, justify, listen, lead, measure, narrate, negotiate, orchestrate, originate, outline, perform, persuade, predict, regulate, record, save, show, study, target, transform, travel, treat, uncover, unveil, use, validate, value, visualize, widen, write, zap, zoom. And again, these are not all of them, but this is a pretty good list of the most common ones. All right, so what is a dynamic verb? These verbs can be used in the simple and continuous forms. So let's look at some examples here. Look at her. She is acting foolishly. Or we could say, she acts as a teacher in this movie. All right, so we're using it in the continuous or the simple form. Next example. The company is targeting young customers with this new product. Or we targeted a new market with that product. Okay? And again, we've got simple and continuous forms. Continuous, simple, continuous, simple. So you can see you can use it in either form. All right. Dynamic and stative verbs. Some verbs can be both action verbs and dynamic verbs depending on their meaning. For example, be. Be equals. It is usually used as a stative verb. He's an excellent guitarist. Okay. Now don't be confused here because we're not meaning BE. You're putting BE down all the time. You can be using it in its form. All right. Be equals when it means behave or act. It can be used as an action verb in the continuous form, the dynamic form. You are being silly. All right, so we've got it here as the action verb here. And now you're using a be form. All right. Okay, let's take another look at another one here. Think. Think equals to express an opinion, to believe. This is a stative verb. I think it's a fantastic idea. Now, a lot of times you are doing this when you are giving your opinion. Right? You speak a lot with this. I think we should do this. I think this is better. Now we can also use think, consider or reason about or reflect on, ponder, to have, or formulate in your mind. This is a dynamic way. I am thinking about my friend. All right? You are using this in your mind here. All right? You're not giving your opinion on this. You are focusing on this in your mind. All right, next, have. Have, to possess or to own in the stative. He has a beautiful car. And remember, we've got have here, but has here. We can use it in its different forms. All right, you're not always going to say, you don't always have to use it exactly as have. All right. So have equals when it doesn't mean own or possess. Dynamic. He's having lunch. Okay, here we're not possessing it. He's doing this. All right. And our next one here, see. See. To perceive with the eye, to understand. Stative. I see what you mean. See, to meet, to be in the company of, to escort, to attend, dynamic. He's been seeing the same woman for 8 years. All right. Okay, on to our next slide. All right, so here, again, we're going to go through our list and you need to decide, is it stative or dynamic? And I want to give you guys 5 minutes to go through, think about it, and then we'll go over the answers. So take 5 minutes, go through, and we'll come back and go over all the answers. All right. Let's finish this up and check our answers. Okay. So number 1, read, dynamic. 2, know, stative. 3, play, dynamic. 4, seen, stative. 5, drive, dynamic. 6, understand, stative. 7, grow, dynamic. 8, believe, stative. 9, paint, dynamic. And 10, write, dynamic. All right, that concludes our PowerPoint presentation for the first part of grammar. If you're having difficulties with any of these, you want to go all the way back here. And again, just go through your slides. Again, focus on the different things here. Linking verbs. They don't show action, just like ordinaries. They link or connect the subject, complement. Okay? Think about this. They're not showing the action. Here, Larry looks happy. Is he doing it? No, he's not doing looks. Larry and happy, they are going to be similar. Okay? So they're going to be in that equal. All right. And again, focus on our formulas for linking verbs. All right, verb plus noun, verb plus adjective. Okay, and again, this is the key to identify whether a verb is a linking or an ordinary verb. Okay, he looks angry. Is he doing this action here of looks? No, he and angry are equal. Okay, so here we've got an linking verb. Now this next one, he looked at the man. He, the man? No, these are two different things. So we have to figure this is some kind of an action. He's doing this. All right. And we had our examples. Same thing going through here. Make sure everything you understood it. Go back, check at some of these examples here. All right. All of these will be there for you. All right. This concludes part 1 of grammar. We're going to have a second part that we'll pick up from here next. So take your time, go through this, make sure you understand this before you move on to the second slide.